What happens when silence becomes the loudest voice in the room? How long can dignity wait before it breaks? What would you do if the world stared at your skin before your eyes? The city hums around him, impatient and unyielding. A delivery truck rolls to a stop in front of a towering glass building. The CEO waits inside, arms crossed, a smirk playing on his lips. Every step Malik takes towards the revolving doors feels heavy, a rhythm of expectation and subtle disdain pressing against his calm composure. His hands are steady, holding the package like a quiet declaration. He can hear the faint tapping of keys from inside the lobby, the shuffle of polished shoes, and yet he walks with an invisible weight of truth that no smirk can shake. The air feels electric, as if the city itself is holding its breath. Malik hands the package across the polished marble counter. The CEO's smirk falters, replaced by a flicker of curiosity. "Just sign here," Malik says softly, voice calm but firm. His eyes meet the CEO's for a fleeting moment, steady and unyielding, silently challenging the assumptions in the room. The receptionist watches, sensing the quiet tension that hangs thicker than the expensive cologne in the air. Malik's presence is a reminder that dignity cannot be bought, borrowed, or erased by a suit or a title. The city outside continues its rush, oblivious to this small, charged confrontation unfolding in the lobby. Richard finally reaches for a handheld scanner to confirm the package's details, his hands trembling ever so slightly. Malik waits, breathing even, shoulders squared, like a mountain unmoved by storms. The scanner's beep pierces the air, echoing in the tall lobby. For a moment, time slows. The city sounds fade. The CEO's face blanches, a hand reaching instinctively toward his chest as he scans the name on the package. His eyes widen in disbelief, the arrogance melting into sudden vulnerability. Malik does not flinch, does not comment. His calm is a storm, invisible yet undeniable. The receptionist senses the shift in the room, eyes darting between Malik and the CEO. The lobby feels smaller, the air heavier. Richard's face flushes white, the power dynamic reversed in a heartbeat. Questions he never thought he'd have to face press into the edges of his mind. How did he misjudge so completely? How could one delivery reveal a truth he ignored for decades? Malik remains quiet, a statue of dignity, his presence a subtle lecture in humility and respect. No words are needed. The message has already landed. Richard's hand shakes as he sets the scanner down. The realization hits him fully. He cannot undo his assumptions, cannot reclaim the arrogance that blinded him. Malik straightens his shoulders, nods slightly, and turns away, moving toward the revolving doors. The receptionist exhales softly, relief mixing with admiration. Outside, the city continues, indifferent, yet the lobby holds a quiet victory. Justice, not through confrontation, but through unwavering presence and the silent weight of dignity. The echo of Malik's footsteps resonates, a reminder that some power cannot be taken. It can only be shown. The lobby is quiet now, but the weight of what just happened lingers. Richard Harlan sits alone in his office, staring at the scanner and the package in disbelief. Questions crowd his mind. How could he have been so wrong? How easily had he dismissed someone based on nothing but assumptions? The sunlight filtering through the blinds casts harsh lines across his face, highlighting the tension between shame and anger. Outside, the city continues, unaware, but inside the glass walls, a subtle shift has occurred. Power is no longer defined by title or suit. It has been quietly realigned by integrity and presence. Malik walks through the streets, package secured under his arm, moving with purpose. The sounds of the city, horns, footsteps, distant laughter, wash over him, yet he feels isolated, almost suspended in time. Every step reminds him that respect is earned, not given, and that dignity carries its own weight. He glances at the faces of passers-by, some curious, others indifferent, and continues forward, a quiet force that refuses to bend to prejudice. Inside the office, Richard replays the moment again and again in his mind. Each time, the smirk he had worn dissolves a little more. He realizes that assumptions had dictated his actions, that a single glance had revealed his own bias. His reflection in the glass wall stares back at him, unflinching. A reminder that change begins with acknowledgement. There is discomfort, yes, but also a seed of understanding. An unsettling but necessary confrontation with his own pride. The receptionist sits at her desk, quietly observing the subtle changes in the office's atmosphere. She remembers Malik's calm, unwavering presence and feels a mix of respect and relief. Small acts of integrity, she realizes, often ripple outward in ways the world never fully notices. Her fingers hover over the keyboard, pausing mid-task, as if even she is holding her breath in acknowledgement of the unspoken lesson that just unfolded. Malik pauses at a street corner, looking back toward the towering glass building. There is no triumph in his gaze, only calm certainty. The city pulses around him, unaware of the subtle victory achieved inside those walls. A package delivered, dignity maintained, assumptions shattered. The air carries a faint breeze, rustling papers, moving cars and passing pedestrians, whispering that change often comes in quiet, powerful steps, not in noise or confrontation. Richard Harlan stares at the name printed on the package, disbelief etched across his face. This was no ordinary delivery. It was from someone he had long underestimated, someone whose influence and reputation could reshape his world in a heartbeat. His mind races, a storm of shame and panic clashing with the arrogance he once wore like armor. Every decision he had made in a blink now feels fragile, easily overturned by one simple act of integrity from a delivery driver who had demanded nothing but respect. Malik walks back to the truck, each step measured, each movement deliberate. He is not triumphant. He carries no gloating. There is only a quiet confidence born of integrity, a calm that contrasts sharply with the turmoil still rippling through the CEO's office. The city moves around him, unaware of the lesson being delivered in silence. Respect is not demanded. It is observed, earned, and sometimes revealed in the smallest moments. Richard sits back in his leather chair, the weight of the realization pressing down like the sun through the blinds. Pride, assumptions, and entitlement. These had been his shield. Now, he feels exposed, vulnerable. He thinks of all the moments he misjudged, all the silent dismissals, and he realizes the truth. Power is not in titles or wealth. It is in character, in action, in how one treats another when no one expects them to notice. The receptionist watches the CEO from her desk, noting the tension in his posture. She reflects on the brief encounter with Malik, a man whose calm authority had silently reversed the expected order. She feels a spark of inspiration, a quiet hope that one day respect and fairness might not require proof through shock, but be the natural expectation. Small acts, she understands, ripple outward quietly, but powerfully. Malik drives away, the city unfolding before him in endless motion. Behind him, the glass skyscraper gleams, silent and unaware of the transformation it just witnessed. The package, once ordinary, has become a catalyst, a reminder that assumptions are fragile, dignity is unshakable, and power lies in quiet resilience. Each turn of the wheel carries him further into the city, yet the imprint of this moment lingers, invisible but indelible, like the echo of footsteps on marble floors. Richard Harlan paces the office, mind racing. Every decision, every glance, every dismissal flashes before him. He knows he misjudged Malik, underestimated the quiet power of presence and dignity. His hand shakes slightly as he reaches for the package again, scanning the name one more time as if the act itself could explain what he cannot yet comprehend. Outside, the city continues, indifferent, but inside these walls, A small revolution has occurred, one that cannot be undone with wealth, title, or arrogance. Malik returns briefly to the lobby to confirm the delivery, his calm authority filling the space once more. Richard watches him, the arrogance gone, replaced by a tentative recognition of fault. Malik hands over a small receipt, his movements deliberate, precise, controlled. No words are exchanged beyond necessity, but the message is clear. Respect is earned. Assumptions are fragile. And dignity carries its own authority. The CEO finally speaks, voice low and measured, struggling to mask the vulnerability he feels. "I misjudged you," he admits, almost a whisper. Malik nods slightly, acknowledging the words without celebration. Silence stretches between them, heavy but respectful. A bridge forming where arrogance once stood. In this quiet moment, power is redefined, not by title or wealth, but by presence, dignity, and the courage to hold oneself steady in the face of assumptions. The receptionist exhales quietly, sensing the balance shifting. She watches Malik leave the lobby once more, walking with measured steps, each movement radiating calm assurance. The CEO remains behind, processing the lesson, the weight of assumptions now visible in the tension of his shoulders. The city beyond the glass walls moves on, unaware, but the lobby holds a quiet transformation. One of humility, awareness, and the subtle power of integrity. Richard sits alone afterward, finally still. The echo of Malik's presence lingers, a reminder of the humility he must carry forward. He traces the name on the package, reflecting on the unseen strength and quiet power of the man who had delivered it. Outside, life continues, yet inside this office, a subtle but undeniable change has occurred. Arrogance has been tempered, assumptions challenged, and respect quietly restored, not loudly, not violently, but simply by being present and true. Malik pauses at a quiet street corner, watching the city pulse around him. He reflects not on the CEO's shock, but on the calm authority that carried him through the encounter. His hands rest lightly on the package, shoulders squared, posture unshaken. Respect, he knows, is a subtle force. It does not shout. It does not demand. It radiates, quietly reshaping perception and expectation. Each passerby is unaware, yet the impact lingers in the space he leaves behind, in the minds of those who witnessed without fully realizing. Inside the office, Richard Harlan leans back, staring at the unopened package. His mind replays Malik's composed movements, the steady gaze, the way the man's presence quietly demanded respect. The CEO realizes that wealth, titles, and power mean nothing if arrogance blinds perception. Humility is not weakness. It is strength tempered by awareness. Each detail of Malik's demeanor becomes a lesson etched in memory, a reminder that integrity cannot be faked or stolen. It must be lived. The receptionist exhales, quietly smiling to herself as she watches the aftermath unfold. She remembers Malik's calm composure, the subtle authority that required no acknowledgement, no applause. The city beyond the glass continues in its indifferent rhythm, but the lobby feels different now, charged with the silent testimony of quiet dignity and respect. She realizes that the most powerful lessons are often witnessed, not spoken, and that integrity resonates long after the moment passes. Malik reaches the edge of his route and pauses to adjust the strap on his delivery bag. The package under his arm is more than a parcel. It is a symbol, a testament to the quiet victories won through integrity. The streets buzz around him. Traffic, pedestrians, distant sirens. But he remains centered, undisturbed. Each step forward is deliberate, a continuation of his unshakable rhythm. No one applauds, no one notices, and yet the moment carries immeasurable power. Richard finally rises, walking slowly to the window. He gazes out over the city skyline, sunlight glinting off glass towers, and reflects on the encounter. The weight of assumptions, the arrogance, the smirk, all of it has shifted in an instant. The lesson is clear. Presence, dignity, and integrity wield more influence than titles or power ever could. Outside, Malik's figure disappears into the city, carrying the quiet triumph of someone who knew all along that respect is earned, not assumed. Richard Harlan sits at his desk long after Malik has left, tracing the name on the package with his finger. The arrogance that once defined him feels brittle, almost foreign. Every detail of the delivery, Malik's calm composure, steady gaze, and quiet authority, echoes in his mind. He begins to realize that power is not in wealth or titles, but in character and integrity. The city outside pulses with life, but inside the office, a subtle transformation unfolds. A man confronting his own limitations and biases for the first time. The receptionist glances toward the office, noting the change in Richard's demeanor. She senses hesitation, a quiet acknowledgement that his perspective has shifted. Small gestures, a loosened tie, a slower pace, a thoughtful gaze, reveal the inner work of someone confronting their assumptions. She smiles subtly, understanding that quiet lessons often leave the deepest impact, and that the world sometimes teaches without words, through the dignity of those who demand nothing but respect. Richard rises and walks slowly to the window, staring down at the bustling streets below. Each pedestrian, each honking car, each flicker of sunlight across glass buildings reminds him of Malik's calm, unwavering presence. He reflects on the many times he misjudged people, realizing how fragile assumptions are when confronted with quiet integrity. Humility begins to root itself in his posture, a subtle but undeniable change in the man who once measured the world only by power and wealth. Malik completes his delivery route and pauses at a quiet alleyway to organize his remaining packages. He reflects on the morning's encounter, not with pride, but with calm satisfaction. The city moves endlessly around him, but the lesson he delivered, the strength of integrity, presence, and quiet dignity, lingers like a soft echo. He knows the world rarely changes in an instant, but small acts of truth ripple far beyond the moment, altering perceptions silently yet profoundly. Richard finally picks up the package and studies it with deliberate care, no longer seeing it as a mere delivery, but as a symbol of a lesson lived. He begins making notes, plans, and small changes, not for recognition, but because he understands the weight of integrity and the cost of assumptions. The office is silent, but within its walls, transformation is underway. Power has shifted, not in confrontation, but in quiet revelation, subtle yet undeniable. Malik steps onto the busy city street, package secured under his arm, the sun casting long, warm shadows across the pavement. He moves with purpose, each step steady and unshakable. The world moves around him, cars, pedestrians, distant sirens, but he carries a quiet victory in his posture, a triumph born not of confrontation but of dignity preserved. Respect does not demand acknowledgement. It resonates in subtle ways, reshaping perception without a word. Inside the office, Richard Harlan finally sits down, exhaling slowly. The arrogance that once defined him has dissolved into introspection. He places the package carefully on the desk and studies it as if seeing it for the first time. Each crease, each printed letter becomes a reminder of humility, the fragility of assumptions, and the quiet power of integrity. The city outside carries on indifferent, but the walls of the office now hold a subtle shift. A man changed by a simple act of truth. The receptionist observes quietly from her desk, a soft smile on her lips. She witnessed Malik's composure, Richard's transformation, and the subtle shift in the space. Some lessons are not loud. They do not require fanfare. They settle quietly into the consciousness of those who see and feel them. Today, she realizes dignity and integrity have a voice stronger than arrogance or prejudice, spoken through actions rather than words. Malik turns a corner and disappears from view, blending into the rhythm of the city. The streets continue their relentless motion, yet the echo of the morning remains. A lesson in calm, unyielding presence. Richard's office, once a fortress of arrogance, now hums with reflection. The receptionist smiles again, sensing the shift. Small actions, unnoticed by most, can create powerful ripples that change perception and redefine respect forever. Richard looks out the office window one last time, the city sprawling endlessly below. He traces the name on the package in thought, a quiet reminder that assumptions are fragile and integrity cannot be bought or feigned. The lesson lingers. Respect earned through quiet dignity has the power to shift worlds. Unseen, yet undeniable. Malik's footsteps may fade, but the impact remains. A lasting echo of courage, calm, and unshakable humanity.